Welcome back to para.university. We're going to continue some C++ basics. Today we're going to go over our basic math functions. So we're going to start out with plus, minus, multiply, divide by, and then this special character. That's called modulo. Not a percent sign, but a modulo sign. We're going to go over that at the end. So let's say we're going to start out with int x equals 5, int y equals 2, pretty much the same numbers I used in my last video. And now let's say we want to do cout all these math functions. Let's say we want to calculate x plus y equals, and of course we'll put in x plus y and L and see what we get. Control save, compile, and execute. X plus y equals 7. So I'm not even creating a whole new variable name or a variable in general for each of these. I'm simply just using the functions in between the two arrow sets here to separate my couts. So we can continue to do that. We can do cout. We can do x minus y equals, we'll do x minus y, separate it and L, and then we'll have both. And there we have it. We have x plus y equals 7 and x minus y equals 3. Perfect. And I'll go ahead and do the multiply and division part here. I'll fast forward the multiply part. All right, here we are. So I went ahead and put in x times y, and now we have x times y equals 10, which 5 times 2 is in fact 10. Now, it's going to get a little bit more difficult. So what about division? And this is going to go back to my part 2 data type video, which you'll see on the right hand corner of your screen here if you want to go review it, where we're going to talk about static casting. So if I do x divided by y equals, we'll do x divided by y. And now we're going to see a little bit of trouble. We know x divided by y is not 2. X divided by y is obviously going to be 2.5, but we're missing something. So herein lies the issue with variable types int. Int only holds whole numbers. It's not going to hold decimals. So if you do a math operation with two ints and the result requires a decimal, you're only going to get that truncated whole number. So this is where static cast comes in play. So I wrote static underscore cast, and then in brackets, you're going to put whatever type you want. In this case, I want to have a float. And this is going to convert my x, which is 5. It's going to convert it to a float, which can hold a decimal. And now that decimal is going to be divided by 2. And that should give us a value of 2.5. So let's control save. And let's compile and run. There we go. That worked pretty well. So now let's talk about a special one. Let's talk about modulo. Modulo is interesting because it's what gives you the remainder. And you use the percent sign to denote it. So let's say we want to do cout x, we'll even type it out, modulo y. And then here we'll have x modulo y and L, control save. So it's going to be the remainder. So how many times does 2 go into 5? 2 goes into 5 2 times and has 1 left over. So the answer should be just 1. Run it. And sure enough, it's a 1. And that's the basics of these math operators. But now let's say we want to make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more user-friendly. So let's use cin or getLine, whichever one, so the user can tell us what x and y's value is going to be. And then we can return all these operations. And then we'll be one step closer to making a fully functional calculator, which we'll just have to go through some other different cases, such as switch cases, where they can basically pick from a menu what it is that they want to do. So you don't have a calculator where you hit 5 and 3, and next thing you know, you end up with the 5 plus 3, 5 minus 3, 5 times 3, 5 divided by 3, etc. So what we're going to do, I'm going to leave everything that I highlighted right here. We're not going to mess with that. We're going to take int y and just have it named. Int x, just have it named. And we're going to do cout. So this is going to show the user something. Enter x value. Give a space. And what we won't even indel. We'll just leave it like that. And then we will do cin. Point to x because x is what we want to come in. And then we'll cout. Enter y value. Right? Without indel, we're not going to go down a line. So it's just going to enter it right next to it. So now we'll cin point to y. Control save. And now this should be more interactive. Let's find out what happens. Compile. Run. Pull this up a little bit. All right, enter x value. Let's just go with 12. Enter y value. All right, let's go with 10. 12 plus 10 is 22. Yep. 12 minus 10 is 2. Yep. 12 times 10, 120. 12 divided by 10 is 1.2. And I did a static cast. That's perfect. And the modulo, so 10 goes in 12 one time with 2 left over. There you go. And that's the basics of the simple math operators. And those are the math operators are found in IOStream. So there's a whole lot more math operations, but those are not going to be found in IOStream. You're going to have to do hash include, oops, if I can spell it, hash include C math, and that's your C math library. Control save that for now. And what you can do, you can just Google or go into programs, and in a place like this, it has a way of looking through the library. So you have C++, C math, so you would just do hash include C math in the brackets, and here's just an example of some of the functions you can get. You can open it up. There's your inverse trig, ceilings, absolute values, etc. So let's just use absolute value as just an example. And it goes down. You can take a look for yourself, see all the different math functions that are on here. We'll go back and you'll see other C++ libraries as well, like the C standard library. There's the IO stream, which is the one you pretty much always use. That's the in-out stream. That's what allows you to use cin, cout, as well as a few other things. C string, when you start getting involved with more strings, and it just kind of goes on and on and on. CC type is always interesting as they'll let you know if something is a letter or a number. For now, just to give an example, let's say we want to do, because I believe I have, yep, C math is already in here. So let's make a new variable. We'll do z equals -20. And now let's do the absolute value. And we'll just say cout fabs. I knew what fabs was because of that library. Z, control and save. Compile. We'll test. I'm afraid it's gonna make me do this all over again. Let's do big numbers. 34 and let's do 101. And you can see all the different values here, but more to the point, I wanted to show you that 20, which is not -20, it's the absolute value of -20, which is just 20. And there you have it. So we went over the basic math functions. We went over how to see what's in different libraries, such as CMath, and you can pick functions from CMath, such as fabs for absolute value. And we went over how to get some user input and make this a little bit more interactive. Stick around for more C++ videos coming up soon, and I hope you have a great day.